Please stay your ass out of the streets so the streets can be safe for me, you, y'all, and everyone, as well as everybody. Please stay your ass out of the street. Welcome to the channel of entertainment. This is Major Barnes and I approve this message. Welcome to the channel of entertainment. Down the street riding. Straight cruising. Just losing the tape. I got the Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry that's classified as my old school coupe. That's it, those 19, 35, 45, 19. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry. Still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. Got one of old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Yeah. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in a brand new, riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Matter of fact, that Camry is a 1997. Better yet, a 98, just to get things straight, because it was manufactured on the 8th of November of 97. Yeah, riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Yeah. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Yeah. Oh, this driver push it to the right. Eden. Riding around in an old school coupe. Middle lane truck driver. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a two-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a 2-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a 2-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. This is South Carolina, aka South Cackalack. I don't know the other acronyms of the also known as, oh yeah, aka South Kakalaki. Riding around in an old school coupe. I got a 2-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. This is Interstate 85 northbound. This is Columbia. AKA Columbia. And it is Saturday. Should be April the 4th. Yesterday was Good Friday. Tomorrow is Easter. Yeah. Come on and stand up. Those who know about the King, come on and stand up. Tomorrow is Easter. And obviously we made it out of the rain. We made it out of the rain. There was more rain. I kind of started recording a little late. There was probably about another 5 to 10 miles of rain that you missed. You had to see it on another episode. But other than that, the year is 2026 and the time is 16:25 Eastern Standard Time. Right now we headed, could be headed to the truck stop, but we are not. We have a half a tank of fuel, so we gonna keep rolling. Oh my. All the way to the terminal out there in Charlotte, North Carolina, or whatever it is. I don't know where I'm going, but I know where I'm headed. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. Ride around in a brand new what? No. Ride around in an old school whip. I got a 2-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. It appears to be too many drivers out here today. That always causes some problems. But this right here is what is known as adversity. Adversity should be in all trips. It is unavoidable. When planning a trip, you can count on some adversity. If you don't know what adversity means, you can Google it. But for the most part, what it means is it's just not going to be on easy street. It's not going to always be a piece of cake. And that's just the way it goes. The main thing is we got to get through this adversity and get to the next level, to be able to continue the journey. But within that journey, great decisions are required to achieve excellence and avoid stupidity by all means. Don't get ahead of yourself. Stay in your lane. Season 3, the junior year. Right now I don't have my partner Diego with me. He's not in the truck anymore. I gotta go pick him up in Nevada or Nevada, however you want to say it. But still gonna be riding around in an old school whip. I got a 2-door Camry and it's still big enough for my family. Like we can get up out of this stuff in about 5 miles. Keep your fingers crossed, pop your toes, pop your knuckles, pop your backs, pop your necks, pop your knees, pop your elbows. If I didn't say it, pop your wrists. Matter of fact, pop your mouth, pop your nose. Keep popping till you get relaxed. Get you some snacks. Sit back and enjoy the ride. We got a long ways to go though. Ride around in an old school whip. I got a brand new what? No. Ride around in an old school whip. I got a 2-door Camry and it's still big enough for my family. That's all I know to my little song. I gotta put some new words with it. Ride around in an old school whip. I got a 2-door Camry and it's still big enough for my family. Matter of fact, I got my seats leaned back. Looking to my left, looking to my right. I don't see the pole, so I gotta keep smoking on my black. Yeah. Ride around in an old school whip. I got a 2-door Camry and it's still big enough for my family. Matter of fact, I'm looking to my left and I'm looking to my right. I don't see the police, so I'm gonna keep smoking my black. Ride around in an old school whip. That's a dirty black. Dirty black. That's for the Camry rider. All soberness in the big truck though. All soberness. Do not get that confused. It's 1000% soberness out here. This is federal. You know how the alphabet people be listening? They be trying to keep up with the trend. But there's a way to outsmart them, and that is to not break the law. That is the only way to outsmart the alphabet people. Don't break the law. Don't break it, don't break it, don't break it. Don't commit them crimes. I'm gonna be riding around in a police whip with a brand new set of handcuffs on, with your wrist smashed up. Riding around in a police whip. Oh my God. Who out there ever rode in a police squad car before? Oh my God. Where did you go wrong? Where did you go wrong? Who out there ever rode in a police squad car? Leave it in the comments. If you had your ass in a police squad car, leave it in the comments. If you took that ride. Make sure you put you was dumb and had to go to jail. Make sure you put that in there. All caps. Put I was dumb and I went to jail. On Mars. Riding around in an old school whip. I got a 2-door Camry. And it's still big enough for my family. Matter of fact, I'm looking to the left and I'm looking to the right. I don't see the po-po, so I'm just smoking my flag. Riding around in an old school whip. Student driver. They get to drive in nice vehicles and drive them. Man, that's nice. That was Durango. Rented a Durango. Durango had like less than 8,000 miles on it. It was just a little regular one. Lowest grade Durango. Put a couple thousand miles on it. It was fun. Topped out at 103 2 times, maybe 3 times on the way to the Florida Keys. Yeah. Durango. But I'd rather be riding around in my old school whip. I'm talking about that 2-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Sometimes I wonder why these drivers driving so slow. My gosh. Do they really just enjoy Saturday that much? That's why sometimes I can't wait to get back to sexy black Lexus and drive real slow, just like that. Riding around in an old school whip. I got a 2-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Overall, the LT International, it should be a 2024 for the most part. No, this is more like a 2023. I got it after it was a year old. It hadn't really went anywhere. Just sat up for a year. And the moral to this long story, to make it short, overall, it's been a, you know, it's been a gem, a jewel. It's got 184,547 miles on it. I put at least 183,700 miles on it. Now, if you're interested in buying one of these, then that means you're serious. You can get all kinds of different trucks out there, but it's important that you get one that's not going to break down. That's the most important part. You may think to yourself, they all break down eventually, but you want the ones that take at least over 6 years to actually put you on the side of the road, if need be. You want to stand behind that good warranty as well. Do things to not break the warranty, but overall, make some funny noises in the dash on the right side of the truck. Little squeaky sounds. due to the materials, the cheap materials, but that's okay, that's okay. And it do drip a little water on my left shin, on my pants for the most part when it rains. It drips probably about every, it's not dripping now, but when it's raining, it drips about every 8 seconds, maybe 6 small drops. Still something minor. And other than that, when you roll down the windows, you hear a I don't really hear it today, but for the most part, if you don't have them wind guards on the side of the door frame up top, you hear a little winding noise. But that's still not a bad thing, due to the fact that you may need that noise to help keep you awake when that sleep monster approaches. But as far as flaws, cons, I think that will be about it for this truck. So overall, I'm gonna say that it's well built due to being able to let the suspense build up and drive mile after mile after mile without any, serious issues. Is always going to be what you want when it comes down to it. Little nitpick stuff, oh well, nothing's perfect, nothing. So if you want to get out there and finance one, you probably should. It'd be worth the money to make that happen. I don't know what's up with these drivers and their slowness. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? People do strange things out here. But that's their way of being cute. Cutie pies. They get to do that. I just have to remain who I am. Somebody's got to be the professional semi-big truck driver. Somebody. But let's just keep rocking and rolling. Get to the new destination across the nation with the proclamation without any hesitation. Exclamation, exclamation. It's like always somebody in your way. Ride around in an old school whip. I got an old school cab. Sitting on 19s, 235, 45, 19. With a plus 38 offset. You know them windows tinted. You know it's got a few dents in it. Nah, I'm kidding. Kidding about that. I don't even have an old school camera. I may buy one though. And buy that cheap stuff. Stuff lasts longer. But yeah, back to the LT International. Make sure you do your research and your due diligence. This audio is just for educational purposes, and buy at your own risk. Make sure when you do spend your money that you don't care that you spent it. Yeah. And do your own due diligence. This may be all fiction. Riding around in an old school whip. I got a 2-door Camry, and it's still big enough for my family. Look at this truck coming up. We've been driving since we left Ellenwood, Forest Parkway, Ellenwood, Georgia. Been driving for over 200 miles straight. Looks like we got 77 till we get to this place. Keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully we can make some magic today. There's always somebody up in the way. Look at the truck. I want to go fast. I should have just jumped in the left lane. Weirdos, just straight weirdos. Ride around in an old school Camry. I got an old school whip. And when the price dropped down, you know I bought that dip. Riding around in an old school whip. I got a 2-door Camry. And it's still big enough for my family. I just can't even get there fast enough, y'all. Job. I'm gonna have to shut down this video, y'all. Y'all have to see some stuff in the next one. Y'all understand? took some years. Used to be 55 miles an hour out here. Oh, look at that, it's go time. Playing the video game. Different levels. Advanced driving, riding, cruising on 18 wheels in the sunshine, in the rain, in the snow, in the sleet, in the ice. Through the mountains, down the hills, with a heavy load of freight while it's windy. With people riding, with people driving, with people just cruising down the road. This is the video game. Playing the video game.